So getting your CDL and having your CDL right now in 2022, it's May 2022 right now, can put you in the position to drive somebody's truck and to get paid 75 or 80, maybe even $100,000 a year. So like if you're asking that question, is now a good time to get your CDL, or is now a good time to have your CDL? I know exactly why you're asking that. And the reason you're asking that is because you're listening to people that are telling you or giving you reason to think that right now it might not be a good time to have your CDL because the economy's so crazy, because fuel prices so crazy, because freight rates aren't that good right now. Like, those are all things that exist in the trucking profession right now, but I don't really see necessarily how those things would affect somebody that is a driver. So is it a good time to have your CDL, to get your CDL? In my opinion, yes. And I'm gonna say, like, you gotta be careful when it comes to listening to other truck drivers. And the reason why is because most of us as truck drivers, we understand that not everybody does what we do, but sometimes it's like the person watching these YouTube videos, a lot of you guys don't understand that some of us truckers are saying things that may not apply to you in the way that you're gonna be doing trucking, right? I know you might don't understand what I'm saying, but like right here where I'm at right now, like there's all different kinds of trucks, or trailers, I should say, out here, right? Like I pull wood chips, right? But then you got a container guy over here. You guys can't see it that good. Got a reefer guy right there. You got flatbed guys out here. You got a hot shot guy that parks over there. There's all different kinds of trailers out here. There's van trailers over here, right? And all of the drivers out here are having a different experience. So we can only share with you what our perspective is of trucking, and trucking is very personal. And what that means is, just because something is good or bad for somebody else don't mean it's going to be good or bad for you. Their story is not your story. This is something that I tell myself often at certain points in my life. When my daughter was about to take her regular driving test to get her driver's license, all of her friends was failing the test. And so she's like, Dad, I'm probably going to fail the test at least once or twice. And I'm like, just because they failed don't mean you got to fail. Their story don't have to be your story. And she's like, well, I'm just telling you, everybody else is probably going to fail. The test is hard, so I'm probably going to fail. And lo and behold, she passed her test the first time. And I told her, I'm like, I kind of would have felt bad if you would have failed once or twice, being that your father is a professional truck driver, right? So like, their story is not necessarily going to be your story. That's definitely true in trucking, because there's so many different ways to be out here, to be doing trucking. There's definitely so many ways. So having a CDL can definitely put you in a position. I mean, Walmart right now is paying drivers $100,000 a year, right? Can I point you to some companies that are paying drivers $80,000, $100,000 a year? No, I can't. I'm an owner. I don't know nothing about being a driver for some of these other companies. I do know that it exists, right? And the cost of getting your CDL is only like $5,000 or $6,000. And I feel that even if you get a CDL and don't do nothing with it, just have it in your pocket, it's worth it. I don't feel that the cost of getting a CDL, like, I wouldn't look at it like that, even if I didn't do anything with my CDL. I got a friend right now that she got her CDL, and in the middle of her getting her CDL, another opportunity came up for her to make more money than she would driving a truck. And so she elected to go with that. But she has her CDL. She just got it on smash right now. Like, the economy is crazy right now. And so to be able to have that as a backup, and the cost of getting it is only $5,000 or $6,000, I would say it's just as good a time right now in 2022 to have your CDL as it ever has been before. Like, companies are paying people right now. So you got to be careful when you're listening to drivers, truck drivers. A lot of the times we forget that not everybody is going to be doing trucking the way that we are doing trucking. And so what we think about it, or whether it's working for us or not working for us, or how it works for us, that's not necessarily how it's going to work for everybody else. So in my opinion, yes, it's an excellent time to get and to have your CDL. And here's the litmus test. If you're ever talking to somebody, if you're talking to a driver, he used to be a driver, he's telling you right now that it's not a good time to get a CDL or to have a CDL, ask that driver, do you still have your CDL? Right? That's the litmus test right there. Talking to somebody that used to drive and they're like, hey man, listen, I used to drive and I stopped because, you know, whatever's going on right now. You know, the Democrats is in office and taxes are high and rates are low and fuel is high and, you know, all this stuff. Ask them, so do you still have your CDL? Now they might say no, but if they tell you, yeah, well, I still got my CDL, right? My point is, people aren't really giving up their CDL like that. People aren't really giving up their CDL like that. So is it a good time to have your CDL? Absolutely, even if you don't do anything with it. But having it opens up a lot of doors for you just to drive for someone, whether you want to be an owner or not and drive your own truck, whether it's a good time to be an owner right now in 2022. That's another video. If you want to see it, let me know down in the comments. But like having your CDL, becoming an owner, whatever it is that you want to do after that, it all starts with getting your CDL. So in my opinion, it's just as good a time right now as ever, but I'm just a YouTuber, right? You can't go around just listening to us and not doing your own research. Just because somebody else tell you it's not a good time, don't mean it ain't gonna be a good time for you. And just because somebody else tell you it is a good time to have your CDL, don't mean it's gonna be a good time for you. That's how trucking works. That's how life works. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.